When I was in grade 10, we had a new English teacher at school. His name was Mr. Henry, and he quickly became the center of attention for everyone, especially the girls. He was young and strikingly handsome, with dark hair and warm brown eyes that seemed to draw people in. At just 24 years old, he was energetic and full of life, which set him apart from the older, more traditional teachers. The girls at our school adored him. They often found excuses to walk past his classroom during breaks, hoping to catch a glimpse of him or exchange a quick smile. Mr. Henry had a natural charm that made him approachable. He was polite and friendly, which endeared him not only to the students, but also to the other teachers. Some of the younger teachers frequently sought his company, trying to chat with him in the staff room or during school events. However, despite all the attention, Mr. Henry remained professional. He focused on his teaching, never allowing himself to be distracted by the admiration he received. I admired Mr. Henry deeply. To me, he was not just a teacher, but the best teacher in the world. I never missed his classes and always completed my homework on time. While my classmates enjoyed joking with him and asking lighthearted questions, I was far too shy to do the same. Instead, I worked hard in his class, carefully listening to every word he said. Sometimes I would wear my favorite dress to his lessons, hoping he might notice me. During those moments, I would feel a mixture of nervousness and excitement. My heart would race whenever he called on me, and my hands often trembled as I answered his questions. Still, I did my best because I wanted to impress him. Mr. Henry was kind and encouraging. He often praised me with a warm smile, saying, "Good job, Elliot." Those words meant the world to me and kept me motivated. For an entire year, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I would daydream about his lessons and even dreamed of him at night. He became a significant part of my life, even outside school. In the days I ran to him in the woods, one day I discovered where Mr. Henry lived. His house was not far from my neighborhood, and I often walked past it, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. If I did see him, he would smile and greet me warmly, which made my heart soar. However, when he was with his friends, I couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy, wishing I could be the one by his side. As time passed, my admiration for Mr. Henry grew stronger, but everything changed when I moved to grade 11. One day, we learned that Mr. Henry was leaving our school to take a new job in another city. The news broke my heart. I was devastated, knowing I would no longer see him every day. Sometimes I still walked past his old house, even though I knew he wasn't there anymore. It felt as though a chapter of my life had ended, leaving me longing for the past. Eventually, I tried to move on and focused on my future. I started preparing for my university entrance exams and enrolled in extra English classes. On my first day, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Mr. Henry walk into the room. He was my teacher again. He smiled warmly and said, "Welcome back, Elliot." My heart filled with joy. I was so happy to see him again, and it felt like fate had brought us back together. For 6 months, I worked harder than ever in his class. I wanted to make him proud and prove myself as one of his best students. We often stayed after class to talk, discussing my future plans and his experiences in his new job. One day, to my surprise, he offered to walk me home. I was nervous but thrilled. After that, walking home together became a regular occurrence, and we grew closer. Soon, we started spending more time together outside of class. We went to the park, watched movies, and talked for hours about everything and nothing. I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. I still remember our first kiss. It was magical. like something out of a fairy tale. At that moment, I thought Mr. Henry was the perfect man, and I couldn't imagine my life without him. However, life had other plans. One day, Mr. Henry told me he had received a new job offer in the United States. He explained that it was a great opportunity for his career, and he had to take it. My heart sank. I felt as though my world was falling apart. We promised to stay in touch and began writing letters to each other, cherishing every word he wrote. However, over the last few months, I eagerly awaited his letters, cherishing every word he wrote. However, as time passed, the letters became less frequent. Life got busy, and eventually we lost touch. 8 years later, I came across Mr. Henry's profile on a social media platform. I hesitated, but decided to send him a message. To my surprise, he replied, and we decided to meet. I was excited and spent hours preparing for our reunion, dressing up and imagining what it would be like to see him again. A week later, shortly before Mr. Henry's release date, when we met at a cafe, I was taken aback. Mr. Henry looked different. He was older now, with a few extra pounds and less vibrant hair and eyes. Although we talked for hours, it didn't feel the same. The connection we once had seemed to have faded. I realized that the person I had loved as a teenager was not the same man sitting in front of me. After our meeting, I spent a long time reflecting on my feelings. I came to understand that as we grow, we change. The things that once seemed so important may no longer hold the same value. My love for Mr. Henry was a cherished memory, but it belonged to the past. A week later, Mr. Henry sent me a message saying he had enjoyed our meeting and hoped we could stay friends. I replied, thanking him and wishing him well. We exchanged a few more messages, but I knew it was time to let go and move forward with my life. One evening, as I walked through the park near my house, it began to rain. I remembered the time Mr. Henry had walked me home in the rain, and I smiled. Life, I thought, is like rain. It can feel cold and sad at times, but it also nurtures growth and brings new beginnings. Mr. Henry will always hold a special place in my heart. He was my first love, and the memories of him will always make me smile. But he is just one chapter in the story of my life. Life is full of surprises, and every ending leads to a new beginning. New people, experiences, and dreams await, often arriving when we least expect them.